So we will talk about infrastructure on FDI. So welcome to the class, and we will see how the recent development and what are the recent developments on FDI. So as I said that if you talk about the total investment in the 12th five-year plan, there is a lot of investment which has happened during the 12th five-year plan, and the share of private investment in the infrastructure sector from 10th plan to 11th plan, it has become more. It has become 38%. And in the union budget 2017 and 2018, the government of India has given a massive push to the infrastructure sector by allocating almost US dollars 661.92 billion for the sector. Now the infrastructure sector in India witnessed 33 deals, okay, so during 2016 and 17, and involving almost 3.49 billion dollars US dollars as against 2.98. So as I said, there's a big push of infrastructure also. And also in April 2017, if you see, companies in Malaysia and India, they signed deals for infrastructure projects worth rupees 3.86 billion US dollars, which are to be implemented in India. Now if you talk about, India has jumped 19 places, yes, 19 places in World Bank's logistic performance index, that is LPI. From 2016, it has ranked almost 35th among the 160 countries, okay. And now FDI received in construction development sectors such as township, then housing, built up in infrastructure, and construction development projects from April 2000 to June 2017, has increased to 24.54 billion US dollars, okay, in the construction. And activities are now, the activities from there is almost, we have used 9.82 billion US dollars, okay. So now let us see some FDI flows in the infrastructure sector. So as I told you also that it has reached 10.26 billion dollars, and UAE based, now let us give you this information, UAE based firm, that is DP World, which previously invested US 1 billion in India, and now it is planning to invest more. So planning to invest more, okay. and along with the logistics and also container terminals, okay. Now let's see some more interesting facts. Let me clear this. Yes, now as you said also, as I told you also, that Squared Capital, yes, Squared Capital, it's a global infrastructure investment company. It plans to raise up to US 4 billion through its second infrastructure fund, okay. Now which will be invested in the infrastructure assets in India across the globe. So if you've seen, there has been great rise from 2000 to 2017, okay. So let us see the infrastructure projects which have been completed during the 12th five-year plan. So which has been completed, projects completed in the 12th five-year plan. So that is roads, then transports and highways, then power sector has been completed, third is petroleum, fourth is railways, then fifth is steel, Then sixth is shipping and ports. Then we have telecommunications. So telecommunications. Eighth is coal. Okay, let's move on some more points, some more sectors which have been completed. Yes, after communications, then is coal, and then we have the ninth is fertilizers. Then 10th is civil aviation. Then 11th is urban development. 12th is atomic energy. Okay, so there's an expansion of roads also. Recent trends, if you see, there's an expansion that the value of the total roads and bridges of infrastructure in India is estimated to have expanded from 13.6% to almost that they have spent money on $19.2 billion. Okay, now if you talk about the next project which is very important, that is the Bharat Mala project. Okay, which is a $10 trillion, okay, which is expected to be launched soon. Okay, now what is going to happen is around 51,000 kilometers of roads is expected to be developed as an express ways under this program. Okay, and then we also have the National Highway Authority of India. Okay, so it has created a new highway operations divisions to focus on all the non-commercial highway operational activities like electronic toll collection, then road safety, incident management, and other modern amenities. Okay, so if you talk about it now, let's talk about the next sector where the infrastructure is doing very good in India, that is the revenue on railways. So yes, the revenue growth on railways. So if you talk about the revenue growth, it has been strong over the years. During the first 5-year plan of 2017, revenues have increased a lot in the railway sector, and revenues from September they are telling you that it will reach much higher by the end of 2020. Now Indian Railways, it aims to boost the passenger amenity, so it's giving a lot of facilities to passengers. Now in March 2017, Railway started a new segment of revenue generation channel through auctioning. Yes, through auctioning for advertising and branding contracts on 1000 trains. So in these 1000 trains, you will see a lot of branding going on through advertisement, and the front running brands are to sign this contract for 5 years. Okay, so among 1000 trains, you will see this banner and advertising going on. Let's talk about the power generation capacity. So yes, the installed capacity has increased over the years, posting a 10.5% increase, and as of June 2017, okay, so energy generation from conventional sources, okay, now it is, how much is it? It is giving contribution of 307.7 billion units. So this is also very, very important. Okay, now if you talk about the next thing we are going to talk about is the performance of 8th crore infrastructure sector. Okay, so now the 8th crore infrastructure sector includes the like coal, then crude oil, natural gas, refinery products, fertilizers, steel, cement, and electricity. That is why it is called as the 8th crore infrastructure. Now the overall index of these 8 crore structures have grown from 4.8%, okay, and it is going to increase more than, by 2017, more 2.5% we can add up. And the growth in the index was led by electricity. So electricity, the growth has increased the maximum. Then comes steel, then comes the refinery products, then comes cements and fertilizers. Okay, so this 8 crore project is very, very important. Let's come to the next topic we will talk about is the infrastructure sector in India, how it has been divided. So as I told you, what are the growth drivers, or what are the drivers for infrastructure sector in India? So this is very important. So the first is government is taking initiatives. So government initiatives. The second one is public private partnerships, very, very important. Then comes is your infrastructure needs. Then fourth comes is housing development. Okay, then yes, there is an international investment also. So international investment. Okay, so these are the drivers to your now recent government initiatives. If you see, there's a total capital and development expenditure has been spent on railways, and as per the budget also, railway lines of 3,500 kilometers will be commissioned or will be increased by the first 2018. Now government has expressed plans to announce a new metro policy. Okay, and yes, a new metro rail act. So there will be a metro rail act which will be enacted by rationalizing the existing laws. Okay, and the budget allocation for road sector also has increased in from 10.7 billions, and now it has increased from previously it was only 8.99 billion, but now it has increased to 10.7 billion in 2017-18. Now 2,000 kilometers of coastal connectivity. Yes, so 2,000 kilometers of coastal connectivity roads have been identified for construction and development. Okay, and then there'll be selected airports in the 2-tier cities which will be taken up for operation and maintenance in the PPP mode in the coming years. Okay, and then there is a new scheme called as Udan. So Udan schemes are also launched by the government. Okay, and now by the end of the 2017-18, there will be a speed broadband connectivity on optical fiber which will be available in more than 150,000 gram panchayats. And in the second phase of solar park, okay, so there will be a solar park, okay, development, and additional capacity of 20,000 megawatts will be generated. Okay, and in the second phase of the strategic crude oil reserve, so India is also talking about oil reserves, there will be a reserve capacity which will be increased to 15.33 metric tons. Okay, so and what about the construction sector? Now let's talk about the construction sector. So yes, in 2017 the government has given affordable investment in affordable housing. Yes, so it is focused on housing projects, and the national, who is helping this housing projects? The National Housing Bank, okay, will refinance the individual housing loans, okay, about $3.1 billion in 2017 and 18. Now the national steel policy, there is also a thing called as National Steel Policy 2017. It aims at higher spending on infrastructure and also on construction through the government initiative. So this is very important. Now there is an affordable housing scheme, like, you know, like 68% of the people are living, you know, they need houses, like, and from 20 to 40 years, more than that, you know, they need. So per capita income has grown also in the annual growth, and that is why the you know, these people of India can invest now on lower housing, on houses, okay, especially. So government has decided to, you know, broaden the reforms, you know, to foster the construction, and, you know, so that, you know, all the individuals can buy under this housing for all. So there is a program which government of India started for housing for all programs. Now this aims to build 20 million urban homes and 30 million rural homes by 2022. Now property has become the most affordable in the last 20 years, okay. Now approximately 16 million, like that is 60 lakh new homes are expected to be built in India between 2018 and 2024, and with social and affordable housing rising almost 70%, which is very a good thing. That 10.5 million it was there, but it is, has to increase more, and that is the target which is set for 2024. Now it is exceeding the 33% increase in the premium market. So that is very important. So that is why housing for all is a very good project which India has started. And now let's talk about infrastructure development in the Northeast. So yes, there has to be an infrastructure, because Northeast are the states which are not developed yet. So infrastructure development in the northern eastern states, okay. So in August 2017, India Japan has coordinated a forum for development of the Northeast, was, you know, formed to focus on the major projects such as road and network development, then disaster management, connectivity and electricity provision, okay. Now with an eye on China, India is working on a slew of roads and bridge projects to improve the connectivity with Bangladesh, then Nepal and Myanmar. Now India is also pulling out stops to expedite the South Asian, you know, sub-regional economic cooperation, that is called as SEC, okay, road connectivity program. So it is going to connect with all the Asian countries, especially southeastern countries, Asian countries, in the backdrop of China's ambition. So China's ambition was there, one belt and one road, okay. So that is why even India is also into this SASEC program, where, you know, there has to be one belt, one road, all connectivity to all Asian countries, South Asian countries, especially like how the European countries are connected to each other. Now government has announced to also announced plans to invest $6.98 billion in the northeast states. Now the northeast Agra transmission line, I repeat, the northeast Agra transmission line, which is the biggest power transmission line to be built in the country in terms of capacity, is to be, you know, inaugurated by the end of 2017, and it has already been inaugurated. And this means that it is going to be cheap power from the hydro rich. So northeast is very good in hydroelectricity. So from the hydro rich northeast can now reach to the central part of the north of India. Now as of May 2017, road infrastructure was, you know, created in northeast at an, you know, investment of $6.2 billion, and 19 major railway projects has been, you know, started, and there is an electricity infrastructure has also been improved, and the whole region is being developed to give a little bit strength to these states. Now, especially Arunachal Pradesh. Now, Arunachal Pradesh is one which is brought on the railway map of India, with India's longest rail cum road bridge. So, India's longest rail cum road bridge is in Arunachal Pradesh. That is almost 4.94 kilometers long. And what is the bridge called as? It is called as Boggy Beel Bridge. over Brahmaputra. Okay, now the government has also announced plans to convert all meter gauge tracks. So all meter gauge tracks in the northeastern roads are going to have more broad, more broader gauge tracks. So it was meter gauge tracks, now it is going to be converted into broader gauge tracks. Now in May 2017, Government of India started the India's longest river bridge. How long is it? It is 91.5 kilometers long, and it is called as the Dhola Sadia Bridge. Okay, over the Brahmaputra river. Again, it's in the Brahmaputra river in Assam, and the bridge will provide easy access to the people of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, and will improve its defense requirements along the Sino-Indian border. So Sino-Indo border will also be protected. So as you know also that the northeast is called as the seven sister or the seven hills of India. Okay, so that is why they have to be also infrastructure development should happen, and infrastructure development is required there. Now let's talk about something which is very interesting, and now for further infrastructure. So yes, what has India done in metro rail? So yes, metro rail and mono rails. So at least 10 Indian cities are working on metro railway projects, and the government has initiated a plan in 2012 to study the feasibility, how it is easy of such networks in all cities with a population of more than 2 million. So 2 lakh people who are there in the population of the city, they must have a metro project going on. And more than 500 billion rupees, that is $7.7 billion worth of metro projects are underway in India, and this will pile or will grow more. It will not stop here. And it is something like some trains, that are 200 trains, will cover almost 70,000 kilometers every day on the corridors in Delhi itself. Now the numbers have increased after another 140 kilometer addition of lines in 2016. So it has added more. And in the first year of 2018, a new metro rail policy which will be announced with the focus on the innovative models of implementation and financing, as well as standardization and indigenization of hardware and software. For this policy has started. And as I told you, and a new Metro Rail Act, which I had already previously told, will be enacted by rationalizing the existing laws. So this will facilitate a greater private participation. So privaters also can invest in this metro rail projects, and there must be investment in construction and operation also. Okay, now talking about monorail. So monorail has made